Personal injury lawsuits can be overwhelming and confusing. That's why in this video we will be going over some of the most common questions people have about personal injury courts. First things first, what is a personal injury court? Simply put, it's a court that handles cases where someone has been injured due to the negligence or wrongdoing of another party. These cases can involve anything from car accidents to slip and falls to workplace injuries. So how does a personal injury lawsuit work? The process can vary depending on the specific circumstances of the case, but generally it involves filing a complaint with the court, gathering evidence, and negotiating a settlement or going to trial. A personal injury lawyer can help guide you through each step of the process and ensure that your rights are protected. What types of cases are heard in personal injury court? As I mentioned earlier, personal injury courts can handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and product liability. What is the process for filing a personal injury lawsuit? The process can involve filling out paperwork, gathering evidence, and filing a complaint with the court. It's important to understand the statute of limitations for your case, as this can vary depending on the type of injury and where the incident occurred. What is the role of a personal injury lawyer in court? A personal injury lawyer can provide valuable legal advice, help gather evidence, negotiate with insurance companies, and represent you in court if necessary. How is fault determined in a personal injury case? Fault is determined based on a variety of factors, including witness testimony, police reports, and expert analysis. What kind of damages can be awarded in a personal injury case? Damages can include compensation for medical expenses, lost wages, pain and suffering, and other related expenses. How long does it take for a personal injury case to go to court? The length of time can vary depending on the complexity of the case and whether a settlement can be reached outside of court. Generally, it can take several months to a year or more. What is the statute of limitations for personal injury cases? The statute of limitations can vary depending on the state and the type of injury. It's important to consult with a personal injury lawyer to determine the specific time limits for your case. What are some common defenses used in personal injury cases? Common defenses include contributory or comparative negligence, assumption of risk, and lack of causation. Let's explain each of these further. Contributory negligence is a defense mechanism that is often used in personal injury cases where the plaintiff, aka the person making the complaint, may be held partially responsible for their own injuries. The defense asserts that the plaintiff's own actions or inactions contributed to the accident that led to their injuries. Comparative negligence is a similar defense that is based on the idea that the plaintiff should only be able to recover damages in proportion to their degree of fault in the accident. This means that if the plaintiff is found to be partially at fault for the accident, they may receive less compensation for their injuries. Assumption of risk is a defense used when the person knows or should have known about the potential risks of an activity, but chose to engage in it anyway. For example, if someone participates in a dangerous sport like skydiving or bungee jumping, they may be deemed to have assumed the risks associated with that activity and may not be able to recover damages if they are injured. Lack of causation is a defense used when the defendant asserts that their actions did not cause the plaintiff's injuries. This can be a complex defense that requires careful analysis of the facts of the case and may involve expert testimony to establish causation. What happens if I lose my personal injury case? If you lose your case, you may have to pay for the defendant's legal fees and may not receive any compensation for your injuries. Finally, how do you find a personal injury lawyer to represent you in court? It's important to do your research and choose a lawyer with experience and a track record of success. You can ask for recommendations from friends and family or search online for reviews and ratings. Okay, time to address some of the more uncommon questions that people might have about personal injury courts. A lot of people wonder if they can represent themselves in personal injury court. Well, you certainly can, but it's not recommended. Personal injury law has its fair share of complications, and it's easy to make mistakes. Mistakes that can actually hurt your case. It's a much better idea to have an experienced personal injury lawyer on your side right from the get-go. Now, you might be worried about the cost of hiring a personal injury lawyer. There's this widespread public belief that the more expensive the lawyer, the better their chances of winning in personal injury court. But that's not always the case. What matters most is the lawyer's experience and track record, not their fees. Another common question that tends to get asked a lot is whether you can get settlements without going to court. Here's the thing. Settlements can be reached outside of court, and they're often preferable. But sometimes the settlement fee might not be adequate compensation, and you might not want to settle, in which case it would be a smart move to take your case to court. Can a personal injury court case go on forever? Well, the answer is a no. There are legal time limits for personal injury cases called statutes of limitations. Once the statute of limitations has expired, you can no longer file a personal injury lawsuit. But what if the accident was partly your fault? Can you still file a case then? The answer is a yes, but it will affect the amount of compensation you receive. If you were partly at fault, your compensation may be reduced in proportion to your level of fault. What about compensation for emotional pain and suffering? Do personal injury courts handle stuff like that? Most definitely. In addition to compensation for medical expenses and lost wages, you may also be able to recover damages for emotional distress caused by the accident. Can you still file a personal injury lawsuit if you didn't seek immediate medical attention after the accident? You sure can. But it can be more challenging to prove that your injuries were caused by the accident if you didn't seek medical attention right away. Finally, you might be wondering if a personal injury court case always results in financial compensation. The answer is no. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee that you'll win your case or receive compensation. However, an experienced personal injury lawyer can help you navigate the legal system and improve your chances of success. Remember, if you or a loved one has been injured due to someone else's negligence, you have a right to seek compensation. With the right guidance and support, you can navigate the legal system with confidence and ease.